3:05 a.m. That's the exact time everything went quiet in St. Paul. The only sound left in that town? The ticking of a massive grandfather clock sitting inside an old antique shop downtown. Tick, tock, tick, tock. But that night, the clock wasn't the only thing that stopped. A life stopped too. A neighbor walked past the shop and noticed something off. The lights upstairs were still on. And that was Mad Seuss, because Gerard Dupre, the most famous clockmaker in town, never stayed up this late, not once. He knocked. No answer. He called the cops. Minutes later, a squad car rolled up. Officers busted through the door and walked straight into a nightmare. Gerard was on the floor, dead, lying in a pool of his own blood. One clean stab, straight to the neck. No struggle, no broken locks, nothing. Even the safe, packed with rare watches worth hundreds of thousands, was untouched. But there was one detail that made every officer's blood run cold. Every single clock in that shop was frozen at exactly 3:05. Detective Lucien arrived just before sunrise. He'd known Gerard for years. The guy was a perfectionist. He synced every clock in that shop himself, every single day. To Gerard, being off by even 1 minute was an insult to his craft. So when Lucien saw every clock stopped at the exact same second, he knew instantly this wasn't an accident. Someone staged it. The medical examiner confirmed it an hour later. "Yo," he said, looking up from the body. "This man didn't die at 3:05. Lucien froze. "What?" "Body temperature, rigor mortis. They don't lie," the doc said. "He was killed between 1 and 1:30 a.m. Silence. If the doc was right, someone had built an entire fake timeline just to throw the cops off. Lucien checked Gerard's appointment book. 3 names. The last people to see him alive: Mark, his young assistant; Eileen, his daughter, back in town after years away; Bernard, a wealthy collector who'd been feuding with Gerard over a rare watch. The interrogations began. Mark said he left at 8 p.m., went straight to the bar, stayed past midnight. Witnesses backed him up. Eileen said she was at her hotel by 10 p.m. Security footage confirmed she never left. Bernard was hosting a dinner party. Every single guest placed him there until 2:30 a.m. 3 airtight alibis. But Lucien knew something didn't add up. He went back to the shop, this time with a master clock mechanic. Hours of inspection later, the expert cracked a smile. "Got it." "What do you see?" Lucien asked. "These clocks didn't stop naturally," the expert said. "Look at the gears. Some are fully wound, some are almost dead, some kept running after being touched. If they all died at 3:05 on their own, the mechanics would match. They don't. Someone turned the hands manually. After the murder. The whole 3:05 timestamp was fake. A setup. Lucien pulled traffic camera footage from every street nearby. Hours of scrubbing later, there it was. Mark's car, driving past the shop at 1:08 a.m. and again leaving over an hour later. They brought him back in. He claimed he was just driving around, couldn't sleep. His story didn't hold. Cops searched his apartment, found freshly washed clothes, but forensics still pulled microscopic traces of Gerard's blood off the fabric. A sharp tool in his toolbox tested positive for the victim's DNA. Then came the final piece. On one rare antique clock, a piece Gerard never let anyone touch, forensics lifted Mark's fingerprint, stamped directly over a blood splatter. He'd touched that clock after the murder, while changing the time. Lucien brought him in one last time. He laid it all out. The footage, the autopsy, the clock expert's report, the DNA, the fingerprint. Then he looked Mark dead in the eyes and said, "Your mistake wasn't changing the time. It was thinking you could change the truth." Mark broke down. He confessed. He'd gone back to the shop after the bar, convinced Gerard was hiding a fortune in that safe. He was furious the old man refused to teach him the real secrets of the trade, refused to give him a raise. An argument turned violent. In one split second of rage, Mark grabbed a sharp tool and drove it into Gerard's neck. Then he spent over an hour resetting every clock in the shop to 3:05, convinced it would give him the perfect alibi. He never imagined the gears themselves would testify against him. Mark was arrested on the spot. Lucian stood alone in the shop, watching dozens of clocks tick back to life, finally set right. The grandfather clock started again. Tick, tock. He closed his notebook and muttered, "A killer can cheat people for a minute, but the truth, just like time, never stops."